Hello? All right, now that should be working.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come be live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. So I'm assuming my audio is working again because of the little white thing that's wiggling around, but let me know if the volume's working. It is episode, it's working, 131, so 1,131 episodes into this. So, yeah, this isn't your typical gun chat. We're here for the real gun chat, and really not looking for nothing. We're just here to chat. So, if the audio's working, we'll throw a link out there. And jump in, feel free, be part of the chat. Tonight we're going to be chatting about ranges. As soon as I go look at the calendar, let's go ahead and screen share. So Barbecue sent me this microphone. I tried using it, but I only barely tried using it right now, and all it did is not do anything. So we'll have to go fiddle with it and see what's going on with it. But yeah, thanks for sending that. Let's see. So we're going to go over to the calendar. So every day we try to keep something or keep track of anything that happens in the Second Amendment or gun history. Not something every day, but there was some neat stuff today. So I guess we'll go with the 51st anniversary of the moon landing. So today's the day. They launched a couple of days ago, I guess. But today's the day that they jumped out of that thing onto the moon for the first time. And I guess that was 51 years ago. Next we got Bruce Lee. They claim that he died. That would have been 30, let's see, it would have been in 1973, so that would have been quite a few years ago already. And then we got the anniversary of the birth of a pretty cool dude, Massad Ayoob. And I made up a graphic over on Instagram. So is my phone broken? No. I'm going to see if I can just go grab the image off of Instagram. Made this image up on my phone. It's going to have that little thing there. So I'm going to have to try to grab that image again. It's always a pain in the butt to grab an image off of Instagram because they're a bunch of jerks. I'm going to find it. Oh, I see it's doing this. So this is showing me all the different image maps probably. These are all little image maps of it. All those tags I gave it. See how it's hitting all those different tags. See, but this div, this little area, is the image. So, but it was just some layer on top of the image. So how am I going to get that damn picture off of there? Sources. Oh, I like the idea of that too. What's the images though? Images. Take this. I don't care about that. Images, static, what's going on in here? Nothing. What's in here? Oh, there's a folder. Oh, look at this. Oh, those are some of the other pictures. So is this the big one? This is the different sizes of it? Oh, what the hell is this? This is people that it's suggesting, I guess. previewing other images. Oh man, those are my last ones. I can go grab all these real quick. Am I gonna find it in here? The ones before it. It's weird. So it's keeping track of the ones before it. It's keeping track of other people. It's my freaking picture, you jerk. Static. Under this. Dang. Not under any of that shit. I'll just go back to code. Get that damn picture. Inherited from. All right, this is going to be easier to just grab it off my damn phone. So I'm going to go over here, plug this in. Oh, now I've got that on a loop. This is what it would sound like if I was making money ever. All right, so now I can go over to my phone and grab the folder of this chord sheet. If I can get it before it glitches again. Media? No. Pictures, maybe? And then under pictures, Instagram, and then under Instagram, I got all these pictures that I've been putting on Instagram, I guess. That's the one I want, but I'm going to take all of them real quick, cut, and go shove them where I shove them over here. Not there. How about, oh yeah, that's where I put them. There, and then Instagram, and then just say paste, and now I'll be pulling all those pictures across. So now I'm going to come in here and edit this event, and I'm going to add this picture that I put up, I put together on my phone earlier. Center that, I guess. And now that those are all pulled over, I'll go grab it from where I put it. And what's the difference between these two? I don't think there's any, so there's that. There. We'll insert that in the post, and we will change that featured image to this new one. There we go. So now that's updated. We come over here and refresh it. Did eBay used to make that sound? I think eBay used to make that sound, but you'd have to be like logged in or something. But I can remember finding your business and then ka-ching, somebody bought something on eBay. So anyway, yeah, it's Masada's birthday, and he's got a lot of stuff to try to list off. So I just barely scratched the surface here. But cool dude, been around for a while. I knew about him from reading books or whatever. And then eventually, I think I seen him walk by in 2009 at SHOT Show in Florida. And I was like, well, I'm going to go over there and say hello. So I did. And I was like, hey, is there any way I can, I forget how I said it. Like, is there any way I can do an interview or something like that? And he said, I think that's what I was trying to do, is somehow try to get an interview with him. And then he's like, why don't you just come to the next time I'm in Arizona? So then he basically invited me to come along and check out his class. And at that time, he was still Lethal Force Institute, because that was like 2009. So that was right when he was not being Lethal Force Institute anymore and starting to be Masada Youth Group. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, so then went to that class, and that was cool. And he was nice. And I was kind of new. I was only a couple of years in on it, and I didn't appreciate what I was doing. I was just doing it. So he was nice to me. And let's see. So I met him at shot in early 2009, one time, right? And then he invites me to check him out whenever he's in Arizona again. He goes to Arizona more than once a year. So then whenever he's coming to Arizona, I email him and go, hey, can I take you up on that? He's like, yeah, sure. So then this is up in Phoenix. I drive up to Phoenix, whatever morning it was. And, you know, every type of thing like this is going to start real early in the morning, right? So you're going to get there earlier so that you're not wasting everybody's time, right? So I'm getting there like, I don't know, 5 or something in the morning, really early, like nobody was on the streets or nothing. And I had to go to the bathroom and I wanted to get something to drink, you know, some stuff to have in the class or whatever in case it was hot. It's going to be in Arizona. It was in the middle of the year. So I stopped by some Safeway or some store that was open, and it was like me, 2 or 3 employees, and Masada Youth. That was all that was in that store. So I don't know if it was because I looked like I was going to a shooting class or if he remembered me or not, but he's like, hey, man. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So then I got to the class and did the thing and wrote it up and stuff. And I don't know, I had done a couple of classes by then, so it wasn't the first time I had written something up, but I was pretty happy with it. Anyway, then that was it, right? So then later on, come to find out through a mutual friend, how do you say, like he's a friend of a friend? So I've got a friend who is really good friends with Masadi. Wait, yeah, I got a friend who's real good friends with the guy who's real good friends with Masadi and brings Masadi down all the time. So anyway, I became friends with all these guys, and then ended up getting to meet Mas again, but this time, you know, through people that we were going to be hanging out after class and stuff. So it was pretty cool. Got to hang out with Mas quite a bit. He's a cool dude, and more than just the, I don't know, name or whatever, or the time he's been on the clock or what, his insight, I think, is unique. Well, maybe not unique, but it's definitely his, and real cerebral, real clinical and efficient, and I base everything else pretty much off of his and a couple of other mindsets or mental focus or mental what's the way of saying it, like thoughts on shooting and self-defense and all the rest. There's lots of different ways to think about self-defense. A lot of people think of it like a martial art or something. A lot of people think of it like something you can read in a book. Other people think like when you need it, it just comes out of your guts or something and just happens like in a movie. Boom, like all of a sudden, even though you've never done anything, like boom, I'm just going to rise to the occasion and whatever. And then other people just don't care about it. I guess they don't think about it. So Mas just has a real practical way. I mean, obviously he's an instructor, so he lives the life, but he doesn't expect everybody in the world to live some kind of crazy, rigid lifestyle or something. And real practical. He wouldn't have been around as long as he has if it wasn't such a legit curriculum or focus on pretty much shooting that works for self-defense and competitive. Like he shoots more stress shooting, like how to shoot when you're stressed, and then that stress can be induced by lots of things. And if it's competition or if it's life or death, when you know how to shoot with stress, then you're capable, right? Anyway, it's kind of a cool dude, and it's his birthday, so I don't know. That's what the calendar's all about. Looks like we don't have anything coming up until 24th. And that's going to be when the Ninth Circuit Court ruled that restricting open carry is unconstitutional. So a little bit of a victory. I think that was, what's his case? Anyway, that was in 2018, and Ninth Circuit Court basically ruled that Hawaii being weird with their open, well, I was thinking of concealed carry, restricting open carry is unconstitutional. So what did they do? I think they said, oh, well, then if we can't open carry, or if we can't ban open carry, we'll say you can open carry if you get a permit. I think that's the shenanigans they pulled, but I don't have anybody from Hawaii in here, so I'm not sure. You know,
I thought the issue was the guy couldn't open carry because they had a prohibition on open carry, but then they denied him a concealed carry permit, so he argued that he wasn't able to exercise the Second Amendment's rights. So then they had to go back and say, we can't limit both. So they lifted the prohibition on the open carry, and then you still have to get a permit for the concealed.
Is that what it is? This, I guess, would be the Young case, because the other one is I was thinking of was I think from California. So this might be I might be mixing two up. But yeah, if that's the one.
Yeah, I don't remember the guy's name, but
well, all I got in the notes here is George Young, a Hawaii resident, was denied twice in 2011 to carry a handgun. And then the judge said, for better or worse, the Second Amendment does protect the right to carry a firearm in public. And then I guess the reason they deemed it unconstitutional was analyzing the Second Amendment and reviewing its relevant history, including blah, 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 blah. The Second Amendment only has force than the home. What? That doesn't make sense. Unpersuaded.
which honestly, I thought that was actually a pretty. What's up?
I'm reading this wrong. It says that the panel stated it was unpersuaded.
I didn't hear what you said.
It says the county was, or this panel was unpersuaded by the county's argument that the Second Amendment only has force within the home. That instead, they said, for better or worse, it does protect the right to carry a firearm in public. So that makes sense to what you're saying. That they said, okay, you got to be able to carry a firearm in public. If you're going to restrict concealed, then that in effect means you have to allow open, or you're wrong, or you're.
Yeah, which I thought that was a pretty awesome win for us, being as it came out of the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah. Trying to remember this time of year in 2018. I don't remember it getting a whole bunch of attention. But anyway, that's still coming up, so you got time to think about it. If you want to make a video about it, part of the goal here is just get people stirring the pot with things that, ain't less important. So, there's potential here to talk about it in a chat or in a gun shop or at a range or at a gun show or something like that. But speaking of ranges, we're going over to ranges because that's what we're going to talk about today. So I've got this thing on screen share, and I will move this over, I guess, so that I'm not blocking the comments. So then we can, let me give you this. I guess I was going to work on this. I guess I won't work on it. So I'm working on the 50 States of 2A book over here. And, right, I got the states and what order they came into the country, got their shape and their flag over here. We got the Second Amendment for all but 9 of them have a Second Amendment. I wonder if I should put a link somewhere. I'm going to put a list somewhere of the states that don't. But anyway, so we've got the Second Amendments listed out, and they're different. I mean, some of them are like blah, 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 and then others, like there's not even space for me to cram it in here. I'm going to look for one that's huge. Look at Idaho. I guess they got nothing else to do in Idaho except write a Second Amendment. The people, let me zoom in on this. This is Idaho's second, Article 1 for them. So it's Article 1, Section 11 for them, but it's the Second Amendment for everybody else. The people have the right to keep and bear arms, which right shall not be abridged, but this provision shall not prevent the passage of laws to govern the carrying of weapons concealed on the person, nor prevent passage of legislation providing minimum sentences for criminals committed while in possession of a firearm, nor prevent passage of legislation providing penalties for the possession of firearms by a convicted felon, nor prevent the passage of legislation punishing the use of a firearm. No law shall impose licensure, registration, or special taxation on the ownership or possession of firearms or ammunition. Nor shall any law permit the confiscation of firearms, except those actually used in a commission of a felony. That's the freaking Second Amendment. And then let's go over to Hawaii. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I mean, that's basically the Second Amendment. So they just copied the Second Amendment. They just went, what did they write? And then they wrote it down. Illinois is subject to the police power. The right of the individual citizen to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So they're like, except for when we want to, yeah, you can have the Second Amendment. Indiana's like, the people shall have a right to bear arms for the defense of themselves and the state. See, that's kind of easy to deal with. And then you got Idaho. They got nothing. They got free ink up there. They use ink made out of potatoes, I guess. Anyhow, so I've got the states, got the order they went into the unions, shapes and the flags, Second Amendments. Then you got open carry, concealed carry, constitutional carry, that kind of thing. Suppressors for hunting. Then all this stuff is listed at the end. Like I say, I'm probably going to do something like this for the Second Amendments too, so that you don't have to go page by page and try to remember. They got a list of all of them and what order, not what order, but yeah, I think they're all chronological order, what order they got, either open carry or concealed carry or whatever. So in addition to that kind of stuff, we'll find one that's got more things in it. Each of them is taking certain amount of time to find, but here's one with a bunch of stuff. So we've got all that data to get accumulated and stuck in here. Then we got legislation that happened because of the state or whatever in the state. So like Illinois, stupid state being weird all the time, but you got McDonald versus Chicago, and you got Ezell versus Chicago and others. So lots of Second Amendment stuff happens in Illinois, even though we always look at Illinois as being, I don't know, kind of a stick, jamming the gears. Anyhow, so we're going to have that as often as possible. Second Amendment organizations. So pretty much every state has them. We just have to dig in and find them all. And then some of the bigger ones are located places, something like NSSF or the people that host SHOT Show. Things that are national level are still somewhere. So putting all that stuff in. Then we went with museums, of course. Big fan of those. And there's the museums I visited, but then there's all the other museums. So I didn't go as far as putting every military museum in yet, because I don't think I'm going to do that. But there's a lot of museums. So all the museums are in here. Then there's firearms inventors and the guns and stuff that they invented. And while I don't know everything, I've got all the stuff from the cards and stuff. So I put all that in here. I'm putting all that in here. And then there's the activists, the people that are doing all the cool stuff, running the organizations, leading things, writing stuff, researching, some politicians occasionally. So there's that kind of thing. I've got a couple other things I'm going to be putting in to make it the 50 states at 2A, right? And not just guns and shit. So the next thing I'm putting in there is... So I'm going to go open it up again. It's going to be the shooting ranges. So if you go to Gun Shop Guide, I shoved them into Gun Shop Guide because that's where I got the museums also. So you got your gun shops and you can look at those. I have those listed because there's just a lot of them and I don't have the logos for every one of them necessarily. But if you go to shooting ranges, what I've been working on this weekend is figuring out all the different shooting ranges that are worth a shit. So I don't have every one in here. I don't even know how many I have. Let's see if this is 5 across. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's 55, 57 or something. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 57 ranges. There's a couple I know that I'm still missing, and then we'll probably put out there search or whatever for any others that we're missing. So I've got stuff in here that's pretty obvious, like the big stuff, but I keep finding big stuff I don't know about. I don't know nothing about shotgun shooting or I don't know, hunting or something maybe. So there's things out there that I don't know. But it's kind of neat as I've been digging through, just trying to figure out the biggest and coolest, newest, like all the different angles that gun ranges go into. I've been to a bunch of them. I haven't been to all of them yet, but I've been to a bunch of these. It's kind of cool. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them here. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm just gonna go through them. I'll see if anybody wants to throw any out there and see if we, um, if anybody has one to throw in here that we don't have yet. Right now, I guess I'll start looking over here. So barbecue jumped in here. Everybody else is too scared to. Got erstwhile. Pretty sure eBay made that sound. Hey, look at that. As soon as I clicked on that, it made me money. So let's go over here and see who's bought what. So somebody just bought something. So I'm going to click on erstwhile every time I want money. ETP's out there. Didn't that get overturned? Oh, you're talking about 18? Or you're talking about the Supreme Court decision in 18? You're saying that the Supreme Court decision later got overturned? Or were you talking about something in this discussion we were talking about? Because I'm looking at this like 8 minutes later. Does Texas have a sponsor yet? So I think you're talking about 50 states, a 2A. And one of the things I did while I've been working on taxes so that let people know what we're doing and to beg for money is to put out a sponsorship so people can sponsor one of the pages or one of the states actually. And I didn't expect, some people put like $10 on California. I didn't expect that. I put them all for $2 and said you could buy as many as you want or sponsor as many as you want. You know, I figured somebody want to throw $20 at us, then they'd sponsor 10 states or something. Maybe the 10 states they like or been to, or 10 states they think are in need. I don't know, whatever rhyme or reason, right? And that could be a thing. People could get a chat together and talk about why they sponsored what states, right? But then I didn't think somebody would jump just to like $10 on California. So I had to figure out what to do for that. Maybe I'll make their name bolder or something. But as far as Texas, I honestly just haven't looked. I think I should go over there and look because I think 2 things got sold, right? But everybody's just been sponsoring pages. So as I've been doing taxes and then this weekend I did the shooting ranges, I just have not looked over there. So sorry, I don't know. But I don't know if, I'm assuming somebody must have sponsored Texas. There's probably been like, I think it was like 90 something dollars in sponsorships. So that's a whole bunch of them. I would assume somebody. And I know 1 or 2 people sponsored like a big list. So I'm guessing Texas, but I haven't actually looked. I don't like looking when I'm screen sharing. So I'm afraid everybody's addresses will pop up on screen or something. Just finished a podcast with Mary Loretton. All right. I didn't think she was a shooter. Erstwhile sponsor Texas. There you go. You're saying that the Ninth Circuit Court's decision got overturned. SCOTUS hasn't taken a case in a long time. Oh, you're saying not so much overturned as ignored, I guess, effectively overturned. Basically saying, since we're not going to look at it, it just stays wherever it was. Or doesn't it stay with this with the Ninth Circuit's decision? I don't know how the law works. All right, well, so then we've got the ranges. So that's where I guess this is just popping up because it's still on my screen. I'll just go back to the website over here. So I set it up on WordPress like I do and got a page here for shooting ranges. So WordPress is pages that organize posts. So the post is like, you know, I'm posting a blog or I'm posting a picture, right? Pages help organize that. So the shooting range page, you know, it says shooting ranges on it. It has some words. There's a couple of links there. And then, because I figured for navigation or for ease of use, maybe somebody wants to go straight to a state or something. So that's what eventually this will become. Right now it's sort of half-assed. Then you got this picture here, and then you've got a display of data from a database. Everything on the internet is a data from a database. So this is an array, a display of items from a database, and it's being told go in chronological order backwards, or start with the newest first and go to the oldest. Display 5 across and then go to the next row or whatever, and then show the picture. So there's, you know, I could have put the title in there. I could have put the date or something. I put the picture only. So that gives you a nice little grid of just icons you can click on or whatever. Mainly because I think that is the quickest, most efficient way to see a bunch of stuff. Because another way to display the same info would be like this, where it has the title, an image, and a little description, continue. And that's neat. It gives you more info and stuff, but look how long it is. Like, it makes it really You just can't put it all on one page. It's probably fine for a phone if you're scrolling or whatever, if you're just looking. If you need to find something, you can search on the site itself, or you could go to the browser and search with the find feature in the browser. So depending on the person, the users, whatever, this is probably more useful for most people, but it doesn't get as much data across. And it's basically useless for somebody that's not looking at this, somebody that might be using some other type of tech or just doing a text search or something. This doesn't really tell you much. So anyway, that's just the two ways that I chose to display it here. And I think for this, since this again is neat and everything, it's real dense. It shows how many there are and what their logos look like. It's just not as easy. So we're going to go this way and just click on some of these. And like I say, if anybody knows any interesting ranges out there to include, I'm interested. I'll definitely put them in the website, and then the ones that are, I don't know, some threshold we'll get into the book also. But basically, I knew that I wanted to put a couple in there, right? Like the biggest ones, maybe the most important ones, things like Camp Perry, right? Things like that big ass range in Vegas, the Winnington, whatever it is in New Mexico, 30,000 acres. That's the largest shooting range, I think, stuff like that. There's this newest one, not the newest range ever, but the newest big range to hit the scenes is this one with the goat on it from Rhode Island. And it holds the claim to fame to being the longest indoor range at 150 yards. So that's kind of neat. And that's brand new. And that's in Rhode Island. It's on a place that's 3,000 acres in Rhode Island, right? It seems like an oxymoron or something. And I guess maybe this is a better way to go. So I'm just going to go through them here and see if I can remember them all. This is a place in Illinois called Fox River that I drove through when I was going to the Gun Rights Policy Conference up there. I was driving from like up northeast of Chicago and driving towards Chicago down this road. And this was, how does this work? I was just driving down the road and I seen a gun shop and I said, I'm going to stop at this gun shop. That's what I'm doing. So I stopped at the gun shop and it turns out to be the gunsmithing location of a 2-location operation. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to your other operation, which turns out to be neat. It's like a Quonset hut in the middle of a town. So I go up to this, or like in the middle of a bunch of houses, like not a commercial area, but like a residential area. And it's a little Quonset hut. It looks weird. It looks like an old armory building from like the 30s that they just never tore down or something. So I go in and check out this kind of cool, old gun shop, or not old, but maybe from the 50s or something gun shop. I guess that's old. And then whatever, but it took me from the one road I was driving into Chicago. Chicago kind of looks like spokes on a wheel. It's got, it's the center and all these roads come into it. So I was on one spoke, let's say, and it took me up to north, and there was no point to go back to where I was coming from. There was no reason I was going down that road. So I just decided to come back, go down this other road instead. And I was on that road, and that's when I come across this place. So I wouldn't have normally even stopped there except for that little stuff I explained there, where I kind of did this little hiccup and went down a different route towards Chicago when going down to the Gun Rights Policy Conference. So that's a place called Fox River, and it's a nice, I would call it a country club, but it's too small. But it's super fancy, marble, everything, stainless steel and glass, tons of money into the facilities, super fancy. Your grandma would be comfortable there, but it's just little. It's just not that. I mean, it's fairly little. It's not a country club. There's no second floor. There's a little area for a cafe, but it's not like an entire restaurant attached to it. But it's trying, and it's in Chicago, so I bet you that's as close as you could get for their. I mean, it's a step towards that, but it's a super fancy place. Shooting Center Las Vegas. Just did a bunch of screenshots off of Google. I wonder if they'd be in my history. I know they will be in my history somewhere, right? But how far back into that history? Be a bunch of Google pictures. Calibers was before that. It was before Sprague's. It was Fort Worth? No. Was it this far back? Oh, there we go. Boom. Nope. Where's Google? There they are. Boom. look at all of them. I think this is it right here. Look at how many times I was looking at that damn Google thing. 1 billion times. So anytime somebody goes, oh, I didn't do nothing on the computer, just go over to these 3 dots and go to history and open up that. You can open up a new window if you want. And you'll see every single click they've ever made on the website, unless they know how to delete this. It'll just be there. I don't delete it because now I can go back and find it like this. So this is the shop I'm talking about. So this is today, Street View today. Boom. So that's what it's called now, Las Vegas Shooting Center. If you look around, it used to be just on the other side of the pyramid, right? Which was kind of neat. That's south. So most of the stuff in Vegas is way over here. So if you just stand here, this is the highway. You can barely tell, but between us and that pyramid is the highway that goes north and south that parallels. Oh, sorry, I grabbed my this is the highway that parallels the strip, and the strip is on the other side of the pyramid. That's Mandalay. Let's see. Yeah, that's Mandalay Bay, or So this is the road that's on the other side of the strip, like Palms or something is over here. But for the most part, this isn't anything. But they just added some sports thing over here. So now I guess there's a reason for people to come over here. This is where we're at. So if you jump up in here and give you a little bit more perspective, just so you get some orientation to Vegas. So I'm going to flip it back to a map. There's Vegas, which is, think of Vegas as a figure 8, and the strip is kind of right here in the middle of it all, north of the airport. So as you come down the strip and across the street, that's where we're going. So let's see, so how do I get back to it? So we're going to go to this highway, and then we're going to go across from the casino, or across from the Luxor. Can you stand on top of Luxor? No, that's what it looks like inside the Luxor. So anyway, we're going to go across the street from the Luxor and back onto this little side street, and that'll put us back in front of what is today called, we'll stand over here, this truck, sorry. We'll stand in front of the place here, Las Vegas Shooting Center, right? Well, when I started going to Vegas to check out the rental places, it was like 2014. They all are kind of built right around 2012 to 14. So if we go back to 2009, so if you don't know, when you're on Street View, go up to here and you can wiggle time back and forth, because time doesn't matter to the internet anymore. And then hit enter. And now we see that the reason that this side looks all weird is because it used to be a muffler shop. So when this thing was built to be some kind of a muffler shop, this was just offices, I guess. And then all of this, which is now range, right, is was their base before. So what they did is, we're going to go to Street View, and we'll go to 2014. That's when I went there. That's probably why Google picked this as the time frame. What they did is they closed up them bays, and then they shoot into this, right? And now this is a big ass area. It's like a gun shop up front, and you walk down this hallway, and then we'll go back a little bit, up a little bit. So this is the garage bays. This is the gun shop up front, and then in here is sort of a big area. Like they could have a class here, or you could bring like a bunch of people and they could hang out here. There's glass here, and then you can look in where people are shooting, and you can see all the big exhaust shit they had to put on there now and stuff. Kind of neat. So we'll go back to the street though. Go back to the streets. Oh, come on. What happened to Night Strike? You couldn't handle talking about the history of Vegas. So then you go to 2014. Now, if we go to 2015, it's about the same. They got their sign up there. Then they were called Las Vegas Gun Garage, right? Gun and Ammo Garage. That's what they were called. And then you got the yellow sign there, Gun and Ammo Garage, right? And they had these little vans. Vans are awesome. And those would scoot you over from across the strip, which is just behind us there, right? There's the Gold pyramid still. And now we go to 2016. See what happens. Boom, it's daytime. Uh-oh. Is this sign down? Sign's still up there though, but okay. 2018. Uh-oh. Sign's down, a little bit creepier. Sign's gone. So I went in there once and they were open. They were really weird. It was weird. So I went in there at that time. And then you get, boom, Las Vegas Shooting Center, new signage, different place, same M19 right there. And then, boom, you get today. And chunk of cheese up here instead of the other kind of sign. I guess they're like, look for the big cheese wedge. And then the other thing I forgot to do before, which I'm going to do right now, is see if this was always called J&S Diesel. So I'm going to go back to 2009. And it was not. It was all the muffler store. So now, what was over here? We don't know what was over here. Oh, they had the whole thing maybe. And right here, J&S Diesel. It's already there. For some reason, Google's trying to act like it isn't there, but it's already there. So yeah, that was kind of neat. I was looking that up. That is the Vegas Shooting Center. So technically, Vegas Shooting Center has only been around since 2018, right? When they changed to the wedge of cheese sign. But for real, they've been around since, where's Gun Garage in here? Gun Garage, yeah, that big sign with the thing on it. This one, Guns and Ammo Garage. See, and then there was also, it was Gun Garage, and then it went to Guns and Ammo Garage. And I'm pretty sure Guns, oh, Dead Horse is out there. He'd like this part. When it was Guns Garage, it was like a weird gun shop kind of thing up front, and there was like a tunnel. You had to walk past all the offices sort of to get to the back. But then the second time I went there, they had a ton of ammo, like a ton. And it might have been, well, think about it, 2000, when did they open? The Gun Gear one opens in 2010. So you've got the assault weapons ban ending. You know, everybody starts liking guns and stuff. Then we had what, in 2012, we had the shortage, the 22 shortage and the 9mm shortage. So in 2013 or whatever, 14 when I go there, no, that would have been 15. So I guess it was some other shortage, but whatever. We were having some kind of ammo shortage at the time, and they had kind of switched to ammo inventory up front. And I don't know enough about Vegas. I'd have to talk to somebody who lives in Vegas and go shooting to know what kind of, I don't know, where they get their ammo and that kind of thing. Oh, let's see. Graham was saying another range is being built in Marengo. Not sure on the completion. Is Fox Valley in Marengo? I know it was right by Marengo Guns, or I stopped at it, I think right after Marengo or right before. But it says it's in Elgin. But right on. Glad to see more ranges. There's also another one I went to. That guy Rick was a friend of some range. Was it 502? It's like one of those ranges that names themselves out of their area code for some reason. All right, so we've got we got Graham out there, Dead Horses out there, Urswell's out there. I came really close to screwing with the robot. Whenever I moved all the books, I got the books done and moved them over to some friends that are helping make sure they're good before I pay taxes on them. So I got like to wait till they're done. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I almost got onto the robot, but I started doing the 50 states again because it's inside. All right, so then the Vegas Shooting Center is interesting. It's also interesting. Oh, I guess I was talking about Vegas and ammo. What's crazy awesome about Vegas? So you get Vegas, the gun store, starting up in 1988. So maybe the first time I ever go to Vegas is the gun store is kind of new. And I shoot a Tommy gun there, and I'm like, oh, that's neat. You can rent Tommy guns when you travel. So you got the gun store. Now, there's another one in here that I don't have in here. Well, I'll have to put in here, but it's called the Vegas Gun Store or something like that. There's another one, and it uses the Las Vegas like thing as their logo. they're old too, but not as old as the gun store, but from like the 90s. But then you can see that somewhere around here, boom, they start showing up. Guns and Ammo Garage, that's in Vegas. Machine Gun Vegas, that's in Vegas. Battlefield Vegas, that's in Vegas. Range 702, that's in Vegas. I don't have all the rest of them in here because these are the 4 big ones, but there's others. So you got Guns and Ammo Garage, the one we just looked at, starts doing rental guns. You got in 2010, you got Machine Gun Vegas, that's where Machine Gun BD hangs out, right? This is the one with the hot chicks and the private club and stuff. Looks like a big black nothing, but it's kind of cool inside. That one's been around since 12. Battlefield Vegas, that's the one behind Slots of Fun in Circus Circus. So, you know, most of these things are jammed over by the highway because they make noise. So this one's jammed behind Circus Circus. It's growing. It's probably the biggest one, right? Battlefield Vegas, we all know that one. That starts in 12. And then you get the Range 702. Now in 12, they start up kind of north of the one garage that we just looked at. But then they just recently moved in 2015 down the road towards that big sports thing. Now a lot of these things are trying to pull the sports players in. You know, they come watch some sports and then they go shoot guns, I guess. So you got these big ones, and then there's the ones that take you out to Vegas gun clubs and stuff. So anyway, it's neat how these things just all started up in 2014, but they've obviously stuck around. It's been 6 years. There's more of them. Each of them is large and growing. So I was up there for the Kalashnikov, what the fuck was it called? The Red October thing that happened in Vegas on the way to the on the way to the rally last year in DC. I decided to jump up and check out that Red October. So the weekend before, for some fucking reason, I was trying to go up there to sell parts kits. I went to Vegas the weekend before and hung around with Fuller and them, and then hung around with a couple of different places. And that's when I was up to try to sell parts kits and stuff. Talking to the AK guys up there, and I found out that about how many rounds. Think about how much ammo the rental places in Vegas go through. Like that's I guess what I was getting at. A long way of saying there's a massive, interesting thing happening in Vegas where there's just tons of ammo being used every single day. It's got to be an amazing situation to think about if you saw like all the ammo supply on some kind of map, you know how they show us like the cyber attacks or something, or you'll see like a thing with all the active airplanes in it. I like to see like how all the ammo happens, and you know, it gets made in the middle of nowhere. Like it's being made in Nebraska and North Dakota or South Dakota, I guess. You know, it's being made in the middle of nowhere, and you know, it gets distributed to wholesalers, and then out to stores, and then to individuals, and then you know, it gets thrown into the hills with machines. But Vegas is like this whole little typhoon of like ammo that's just coming out of nowhere and being. I'm sure it's mostly being created there, right? And same thing in Florida. Like there's some crazy stuff happening in Florida, right? You ever did the Coca-Cola flavor from around the world thing in Vegas? I don't know what that is. Oh, you mean there's some way of tasting Coca-Cola from all the different places in the world? I don't ever go to the strip and hang out where like normal people go. I go to gun shops and ranges and things like that, and then my hotel room. I'm pretty sure the longest indoor range is Lapua, but it's not public and it's actually underground. They shoot through a concrete tube like syrup plate. 300 meters. I don't have any idea how long meters are. Let's go look at that one though, because this one I'm talking about, they have a couple of pictures of the being created because it was just built last year or whatever. So if you go search for this place that I never heard of until I started doing this research, I guess because it's so new, right? But here's a thing. If you're interested in learning about stuff, like this building was built, so the commercial contractors have all kinds of stuff online about it. The real estate agents have all kinds of stuff online about it. The bankers that were involved in the financing will brag about these things. So while the place themselves, and this is one of them, almost does nothing to talk about themselves, either because they don't want to or they're just too dumb to record their own history. There are other places online that will have interesting stuff. So I think the pictures I'm thinking of, I'm not finding them, so I'm just going to go grab them off my computer. I found them from a contractor, I think, who was like bragging about this building they built. So where would I put them? I put them in here and in here and in here. So this place is called the Range at the Preserve. Yeah, here we go. So that's what it looks like inside. It looks like a Bass Pro or something, right? I think I can do this. And then, oh wait, this isn't the picture viewer. Open with photos. So that's where it looks like, you know, from the outside, it looks like whatever it looked like in this picture. Like it looks like a giant house or something, right? It doesn't even look like a thing. It looks like somebody's townhome. But it's in the middle of a bunch of townhomes for rich people. So I guess that was the thing to make it look like that. But on the inside, it looks like a Bass Pro. So it's like a little private Bass Pro for these rich people that live here. That's what it's on top of. So this is what it looks like underneath, and that's the long bay. All these other ones are 75 yards. I think they made a big thing. No, wait. They always say that everybody else shoots 25 meters and theirs are 33 meters. So I guess these are like, whatever that comes out to, 99 yards, 100 yards. This is what it looks like when they covered the rest of it completely, because this is just 2x4. This is when it's covered with the slab. And there's that big house and little van, because the vans do all the work. And then that's what it looks like from this angle. There's the van doing all the work again. And that's all the pictures I have. But yeah, it's underground too, is what I was showing you. But I'm sure that, well, I know that, let's go on a picture of Safari. Can I do that? I don't have a map open anymore. When we visited Garrett, they have a big giant tube underground. And why would they build a giant tube that's only 100 yards, right? Like, I'm sure their tube is long too. This is when they're bragging about being the longest indoor shooting range. Yeah, that definitely just means that's you can pay to shoot on it or whatever, you know. But it's 4 lanes at 150 yards and then 16 lanes at 33 yards. Well, what is that? I guess they were bragging. All the other people are 25 yards. Theirs are 33. I started tracking things like which target system they're using, because they usually brag about what target system they're using. And I think that would be neat to be able to filter them out by things like that. Anyway, so I think we started talking about that because you were talking about the Lapua one. It would be interesting to find out if there's stats, like what the manufacturers have, because I bet you they've got some of the coolest facilities for whatever, Q&A or development and that kind of stuff. Let's see. So then we got the Nashville Armory, which is just some new range. Kind of interesting. It showed up on some search. I started doing searches for shooting range grand opening on the internet, and it just found all kinds of neat stuff. Mission Ridge is Mission Ridge. Mission Ridge was this place that me and Edge went to in San Antonio. It's a country club. Let's see, it'll tell us at the top here, 30,000 square feet. So not the biggest one or nothing, but definitely not small. Brand new in 2017. So these are chronological backwards. This is TNT, some giant range in, oh crap, I didn't even put the state in here. I guess it's in Utah. So have you been to this one, Dead Horse? TNT? I forgot to put the thing, but it's in something with an M. We'll look for it. I usually put the address and everything in here. I guess I forgot to do it on this one. So I'm going to edit this post. Now I'm looking at WordPress and the behind the scenes little thing here. It's pretty much WYSIWYG. I'm going to go find the site I'm looking for, TNT Gun Range. First thing I'm going to do is grab their website and just click this down here and put it to a link and just leave that in there because I want to link to them. Oh, and the reason I didn't is because of their stupid address is all capitals. I got to go find their address somewhere that isn't all capitals. So if that happens, which their website's goofy as hell, everything's in capitals. I'm just going to go to the internet and search for their name all in capitals. And what's it going to do? It's going to find their name in not capitals. So I'm just going to use the internet to my advantage right there. And then that way I don't have to put them in here as all capitals. So now I have to hit enter, paste all that, go find the range again. So this was the title of the page. When I go down here and paste it, it's not going to paste it all big like that because it's not the text that was big, it was the place on the page that made it big. So now I'm just going to unbold that and bold that. So that's how I like to do it. I'll put that up one. So now I got the address and the links there for anybody that sees this in the future. And that's really the goal of this whole thing, is to create a website over here that accumulates this stuff so that when somebody finds it, right, they can go to like the hub here in Arizona, they can find the link, they can see where it is. For something like this, I've been there, they get some pictures and stuff. But really it's for the internet so that it starts to see these things. And there's a page, this gun shop guide has been around for a little while. Let's go find out how long it's been around. Where's my Wayback at? I'll just open up a new Wayback, I guess. Wayback gets mad when you open up too many versions of it. So one of the things that's significant of the internet is how long it's existed. So Gun Shop Guide, I guess, has existed at least on the internet since 2009. So, when you have a site that's from 2009 that's actively getting push stuff on it all the time, the internet says, this site must be worth something. It's not just some garbage site that's sitting there abandoned. So when we link to these sites, hopefully it's valuable to them. Anyway, so TNT, the Lakua one, I imagine. Have you been to this TNT one? This one is pretty cool. So it's a country club. You can tell by looking at it. They keep comets in the sky just so that when you look at it, there's a comet going by. I mean, that's going all out. When you click on it, though, and go in here, like I said, their website's a little goofy. But this gives you the idea. When you go into their range, this one has a 100-yard tunnel. But when you go into their range, you get your own little room, your own little area. It's like they're all adjoining and you can do stuff, but you get your own little area. It's like you're going into like a section with walls and stuff, not just a bay and a thing. And then they got this, a giant indoor clay pigeon range, right? They got rentals. So let's see if we go back to 41,000 square feet. This is another one where their contractors and their people that facilitated it were bragging about it all over the place. I learned more from their contractors than I did from them. But they got a whole bunch of these private booths. Each lane has its own private booth, and then some of them are really fancier than others. They got all kinds of neat stuff in there, and I guess it's right off the highway. But anyway, that one opened in 16. I guess I don't need to be looking at the editable side anymore. See how I added the link and stuff. All right, so that one, I guess I have a couple of pictures of the place too. I think both of these pictures came off of a contractor's website. We got Mission, we got TNT. These are some of the new ones. This Nashville isn't quite to that scale, I don't believe. Look, they don't even tell you how many thousand square feet, so how many, they can't be that big. The range at Austin is not the first country club I went to, but it's one of the first. So that's 52,000 square feet. So I'm going to put them in order here. So now we got the range at 52. We got TNT at 41,000 square feet. Mission Ridge at 30,000. The Mission Ridge might have been one of the first ones that I went to because Edge took me there on the trip back in 18. Then we get Cody Firearms Experience. It's not a country club, but it's awesome. One of my favorite gun shops, gun ranges that I've experienced so far on the trips. Bud's Gun Shop. Everybody hates them. I didn't even know that they were big, what they were, until I started looking into them. So 23,000 square feet. They're not that big. But they're kind of a country club, and they're right next to Dollywood, I think, or something, right? We got the Tulsa place. That's the sheriff place. Then you got this place called The Site. I didn't realize that I went to a Blackwater site. So this place is Blackwater's. old shooting range. It's in Illinois. It's not open to the public, but you can rent it. So it's kind of open to the public if you buy it. You got Shoot Smart, which isn't really a country club, but it's one of these brand new fancy ranges. And they were starting in 14, but not a country club, so I'm not opening them up. Vance, went to them with Pink in Ohio. They're from 15, but 56,000 square feet. Even though it's not a country club, it's a massive, it's like its own Sportsman, or it's like its own Bass Pro or something. This, I'm not even going to click on. That's a place in Vegas that is just a gun shop that's trying to get in on the whole machine gun rental place, but I don't like them. That's range 702. Let's see. Where they shoot over the highway, and it's 300 meters, and it's designed so that no way traffic can be struck with a bullet. They have never had an accident. What? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Range 702 is in Vegas, and it is across the highway. I don't know what you mean by shooting across the highway. There's no tube. If there was a tube, that'd be the coolest thing ever. So I don't have a hyperlink. I'll have to copy this link over. But when you go to range 702, this is their website, so that'll tell you a lot. Like, look, they're trying to appeal to the non-shooter, I guess, or like the, I don't know, somebody is going to do all this stuff. Their shuttle isn't like a Humvee. I don't know. They're definitely for like the, I don't know who they're going for. Maybe the adult gamer or something, or like the people that are going to go. I think it's just for the people that go to Vegas, and then they're like, I want to go somewhere comfortable to shoot that isn't going to scare me, and then it's going to be air conditioned, and I don't have to, I'm not going to have to know anything. Like, it'll all just be easy. Like, they're definitely trying to be real easy and clean and not gunnish at all or anything. And anyhow, so if I go to, I have to go to a map, I guess, because of how crappy Ducks, what is this thing called? DuckDuckGo, their maps are horrible. So we're going to go to a Google map, get rid of that part, and go up to Vegas. That's how it takes to get to Vegas from here. And then, let's see, so there's the strip. Right, and here's this highway, and if you look, right next to the highway is this Rancho Drive or whatever. Maybe down here. Oh, darn, Martin Luther King one. No, it's that Rancho. No, it has to be over. Wait a minute, where is it? Oh, no, it's over here. So it's going to be on this Dean Martin Drive. So I'm going to flip it to here. So now if that one that we were just looking at is right across from here, Dean Martin Loop. So there's the one we were just looking at. If we jump up and go just down the street a little bit, I believe. And then, yeah, so you just go down. You just go down past whatever this road is, and then you get to range 702. So that's how big the building is. But now I'm going to zing around. Like, there's nothing you can shoot over the highway. The highway is right in front of it. There's the highway. There's a golf course over here. So it's possible that you could shoot at the golf course, I guess. But I don't think there's anywhere to shoot from. One time when I was in Vegas and I was driving down this road, when I was driving down this road from like a party after, it was night wait in the middle of the night or whatever. There was a big party down over here, and driving back up towards town, and right around here, as you're driving, you can see these airplanes, and this right here, I guess it's easier to just drop it. They put a big fucking wall, assholes. So there was the Glock plane, like parked right here, big ass Glock logo on it. That was pretty cool. Got a couple pictures of it. I don't think I pulled out over here though. I think I pulled out into the middle. Anyhow, so I don't know where they'd be shooting, dude. The airport is over here, and this golf course from Mandalay Bay. So there's Mandalay Bay. This is where Mandalay Bay is, and this is where the concert was held. So somehow that happened. But there's the Sharks, I guess. I've never been in Mandalay Bay. And then if you go to that range 702 where it is now here's the thing. I'm going to jump back up a little bit. There's range 702 today. It used to be, you just go up whatever drive here. And now we just went past that shooter's place, which is right there. This is that other one we were just talking about, Shooters, Vegas Shooting Club or whatever. Anyhow, if you go north past this and then up here, oh, there's this thing in the way, and over here, this thing that says Outdoor Kitchens, that used to be range 702. When range 702 opened, it was at this address where it says Outdoor Kitchens. That was range 702. So now if we go backwards and go to Street View and say, I don't remember when range 702, it had to be around 14. Oh, no, it had to be 15. It had to be, let's try 15. No, it's still Outdoor Kitchens. 13. Dang, how long did it move? It moved to like 15. Well, that was called Poker Battle. Oh, dang, you can't go back any further? Wait, I think it was there. I'll make sure there's another building that looks exactly like this. No, that's it. There used to be another gun shop right here that went out of business on this corner. Now it looks like there's a 511 store right here. Boom. So yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Where they shoot over the highway and it's only 300 meters and it's designed so that no traffic can be struck with a bullet. What video? Oh, what video? Let's see, where were we at? Oh, it's collecting these. This one I don't need. I don't know how big range 702 is. Did I have a link to it? They don't even talk about how big they are. They're not that big. They're just that little building. But they are one of the Vegas ones. And they're not a country club either. They're definitely more of a, it's the link. So we gotta go over to the thing, I think. You on YouTube? Link. I don't know what link you're talking about. I've seen a thing where there's like some kind of a piece of concrete or something. But for those in Switzerland, put a rifle, range over the highway. 300 yards built over the main road. Yeah, I don't know about, I guess when I refresh this, it'll go back to the thing. This doesn't exactly make it look like it's safe, but this is because you're standing down on the ground looking up at it or whatever. My problem would be, and this is why they don't, this is, they just haven't run into this yet or haven't encountered it yet, but there could be a couple of things. One, what if you were flying a kite behind your car? And there's no law against that I know of, especially in Sweden or whatever. So you can't fly a kite over here without getting shot at, which is annoying. And then the other thing would be, what if you had a giant lead magnet? If you had just invented a lead magnet and you were driving down the road to show everybody your lead magnet, you'd probably get killed. So we don't even know how many people have invented lead magnets that have been killed. And all we would know is somebody would be like, oh, I missed. You know, they would never know. They would think, oh, I jerked it to the left or something. But whatever, they can do that kind of stuff in Sweden. I don't think that stuff would fly here. I think people would freak out if they knew about it. If no one knew about it, then I don't think anybody would know about it. Let's see. So now we get to Battlefield Vegas, unique. I think we're about 2014 here. Get to this Colonial Shooting Academy. Here's the thing. They claim to be the largest indoor range in the country. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to start doing this. So I got 60,000 square feet. We got 52,000 square feet. And then we got 41. So your TNT up there, Dead Horse still hasn't said if he's ever been to the TNT range before. It's in Murray, Utah. Murray, Utah. I don't know where that is. We're gonna find out. I'll use the shitty DuckDuckGo map to look for it because you'll see how shitty it is. It's using some kind of iPad map. This tells you how there's no way you can respect somebody that uses an iPhone. If they can use this map and get along, then they're living half a life. This isn't even a full life. Right in the middle of town. It's basically just in Salt Lake City. They're just acting like it's not in Salt Lake City. So I haven't been here. I've been to this place? No, I've never been to this place. I went to some place that was like on this corner. But anyway, it's in oh no, that's not where the place is. That's where the middle of Murray, Utah is. So let's try this again. And I'll still use the junky, crappy map of DuckDuckGo. But I still have no idea where it is. I don't think I've ever been there. But it's new. I was there in 12, so it was only built in 16. I haven't had a chance to be there. Although I could have gone there if I would have known about it. So you told me about one, though. Oh, shit. You told me about one that I don't think I hit on the way out. It might have been TNT because I was leaving in the middle of the night or some shit. But then what about this idea of them each having their own private booth and the indoor shotgun range? Those sound pretty interesting to me. But let's look at it as far as numbers. 41,000 square feet, right? You're bigger than Mission Ridge in San Antonio, and you're bigger than Bud's Gun Shop in Tennessee. But you're not bigger than the range at Austin, which is pretty big. 2 stores, 2 floors, private, expensive, rich people upstairs. Colonial Shooting Academy, 60,000. Machine Gun Vegas, as we already talked about, that's Machine Gun BB. This one I never heard of before. The Talladega Marksmanship Park, which is at the Talladega place. Massive, massive place. So it's in Alabama. If I ever go to Alabama, I'm going to go there. Yeah, but is it? They probably put them with you because you're in your own room or whatever. Because it sounds like you're in your own room. Hopefully, if they ever trust you enough to leave you alone, that would be amazing. Because then you'd have your own room. The hub is this place here in Arizona that is up in. It's kind of interesting history. It's up in the Mike Mountains, north of the Indian reservations, where people from Phoenix go skiing and stuff. People go hunting up there, and then they opened up a shop here in Tucson. So not a country club or nothing, just a range out in the middle of nowhere, kind of. Copper Star is a cool one. It's a fancy shop. It is a really nice shop. Opened up in 12. I don't remember when I started going there, but they have the gun from Red Dawn. They have the RPK from Red Dawn. That was literally the gun from Red Dawn. You can shoot it. Shooters World in Tampa. So this, what the hell? Oh, this isn't all their locations. So they're one of these places that are like, we're the biggest place ever because we have 184,000 square feet. That's in 3 locations. So one of them is 62,000 square feet, which is bigger than the Colonial. So I don't know what's going on here. Colonial built in 2012. Shooters World built, I don't know, wherever their Tampa location was built, 62,000 square feet. So it looks like we got some fighting to do here. They got a 48,000 square foot place and they have a 74,000 square foot place. What? This makes it sound to me like they got way more thousands of square feet than Colonial can ever hope to have. Colonial, by the way, is in fucking Virginia. So they think they're so good, but they're in Virginia. So now we got Shooters World mopping the floor with them. Shooters World started to be built in 2012. I don't even know because I don't know when all the other ones are built, but I'll have to look into it now. Because now it's shaping up. Now we're really seeing it. All right, so you get from Shooters World to this place in Hawaii. I only put it in here because I thought it was the one that Z went to, but it's on a different island. So it's just some guy who went out there and decided to make a shotgun club, and he did in Hawaii. The 100-yard range you have to shoot prone from, so you're always laying down, not sitting, and you shoot through a giant tube, just like, oh, you're talking about at TNT? Yeah, that's really weird. I don't want to do any of that either. Let's see. Now we get to what I was looking at. There's no way I had to write this wrong. 5,000 square feet. Nope. I wrote that wrong. So we're going to go look up Centennial Gun Club again, because this is one of the, when I went to this one, I was like, oh, okay, this seems like a country club. Centennial Gun Club. First, I look like an About Us on C1, so I'm going to slowly scroll down in case they tell you stuff about them. They don't. So, blah, 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 blah. Nothing more. Oh, there's no about. Shooting range, pro club. Sentinel Club is 5,000 square feet of retail. No, that's not very big, but that's only their retail, so I don't know how big their building is. Press. Sometimes I'll go look at when they were built. So Centennial was built in 12. Put your press releases on here. All right, I'll put research in this one. This is why it's boring, because you have to sit around looking for a million different ways to try to figure out how big the building is. But if they're only got 5,000 square feet of retail is about what the range has. Now they have 7,000. I'm going to go ahead and say Centennial then is not in the running. They didn't look like that big of a building. That's the one I thought might be big enough to compete. The 2A Shooting Center is a littler place in Tulsa. You can see these are in chronological order. You got calibers. Those are 3 shops out of New Mexico, which are kind of neat. They're definitely trying to be fancy, but they're not country clubs. We already talked about the Guns and Ammo Garage. Shooters Depot is a little place in Chattanooga that I went to in 2012, just after they opened. We've got the Clark County Shooting Complex, which is outdoors, so it don't count, but that's a whole nother competition. Look at this. Here's the thing. 2,900 acres. Sounds like a lot of acres or whatever. Largest shooting facility in the United States. That's what they claim. And that's Clark County. They're so good. 2,900, right? Let's just go down to, shut them up real quick. Boom. 33,000 acres. There's no typos there. So that's Clark County. That was pretty awesome. They're only using 900 acres of that 3,000. That's in Vegas, and it's pretty awesome. This one is Rock Castle. So you ever heard of Rock Castle? I heard about it because a bunch of douche tubers went there, and I figured it was some sort of garbage place. But let's see. You ever been to bowling alley and laser light disco things? That's shooting at TNT is like. They use flash blue and red, purple. Huh. I'm gonna go there to check it out, but yeah, you're making it sound like they're doing some weird stuff going on there. Shooter's World is pretty huge in Tampa. You also rent 249 saws, machine guns, different types of stuff. All of these have rentals. A characteristic I should have started putting in there is how many, but the problem is depends on the article. Like I read an article about Battlefield Vegas that said we have over 300 guns, and I know they now have over 1,000 guns. So that's got to be something that once I've got the list created, I'll try to go through maybe and get it updated or something. But yeah, the types of guns and the number of guns is, fairly probably a bunch of guns that are the same. But I think that might be interesting. Stuff like the Red Dawn gun, right? There's going to be people that have things that are unique or whatever. Gatling gun or a saw, or not saw, I'm trying to say. Anyway, the fancier guns.
Gee, if you want, after you get that list compiled of everything that you're going to put in there, you could shoot me an email of all the shops, and I can actually call around to them if you want, and try and get a approximate number of guns that they have for rental and whatnot to include.
Right on. Yeah, and that just might be something collaborative. Because that make it possible to actually do something. Because I'm assuming it's not like, hey, like, let me just call and ask, and they'll be like 16, thanks for calling, or like 200, thanks for calling. Like they might not even know off the top of their head.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I figured it wouldn't hurt to try. I could just say, hey, we're trying to compile.
Yeah, like I'm going to call today and then be like, hey, can I ask? And then can you follow up with an email, or can I call back in a week and you tell me, that kind of thing,
Yep.
But yeah. So this Rock Castle place started in 2009. Like I said, I heard about it from just some people on YouTube, right? But nobody ever, because they're all douchebags, so none of them explained it like it is. So it was some 2,000 acres in Kentucky near someplace. And it's got 2 18-hole golf courses on it and some lodge that was built in the 60s. And it was for sale because some foreigners owned it and they just left it sit there. So it was just sitting there going to crap. So these dudes, Nick and Nate, go over there and buy it off of them. So they bring the property back to the United States, right? We own it. And they tear down one of the golf courses and turn it into, does it even say? Well, many ranges, right? So rifle ranges, handgun ranges, distances out to a mile. They built a cowboy town. There's all different kind of archery. There's, all kinds of stuff. But they've got the cabins or whatever, the lodge and stuff that was all built for these golf courses. They left one of the golf courses as a golf course and then turned the other one into all this shooting opportunities. So now you can go to this place that's like 100% themed towards guns now instead of golf. But it's like fancy from the 60s, I guess you could say. So it's not like brand new or fancy, but certainly big. And sounds like there's just a ton of stuff. Like there's a cave you can climb down like into a cave and then shoot with lasers and stuff inside of a cave. Just all kinds of interesting stuff. So I'm definitely more interested in that one now that I've learned the history of it, that it was reclaimed. How many times have you heard that joke about a golf course is just a waste of a shooting range? This is literally the other side of that. It's not a country club only because, I don't know, maybe it is a country club. I can't compare it to these others because these others are just big stick and stucco boxes that, they make these metal boxes and cover them in stucco and then give them some flashy name or whatever. And they're competing for how many thousands of square footages they got. I volunteer to research and vet Nebraska information for XMC. Right on, thanks. We got some stuff from Nebraska for sure. Let's see. So Rock Castle, I don't know where to put them. Their main building is a resort, so it's bigger than all these steel and stucco buildings. So I'm gonna have to not call them a country club, even though they kind of are a country club. Let's see. Sportsman's Elite is Little Range, I think. What was this? This was 13,000 square feet. I guess it isn't that little. This was a place I visited in El Paso. I've tried to visit it twice, I guess, and then they moved and expanded into a bigger place, and I still haven't been there. Bob's was it the only gun shop in Massachusetts? No, New Hampshire. This was the only gun shop in New Hampshire that was open to the public, and this one was given to us by, what the hell is this? Can't think of his damn name. I can't think of his name. Dude from New Hampshire. I don't know. I didn't think he was from New Hampshire. Anyway, I can't think of his name for some reason. But the dude, when we were doing the Daily Gun Show, this guy recommended it as his shop. And when I went to go put a logo on it, because I'm trying to get all the logos on there, I found out that if you go to their website, it says, "Great sadness, we notify you that Bob's Original Shooting Range is now permanently closed." So it was open for something like 12 years. Thank everyone for our journey the last 31 years with ups and downs and blah, blah, blah. And don't give up the fight. So yeah, this guy shut down. And I guess that was the only open to the public range in New Hampshire. I keep thinking Smeggy, but Smeggy is messing with me. It's, I'll think of it when I'm going to try to think of it. Anyway, so that one is a sad one. We got the Whittingham Center. Which again, you could call it a country club because there is a giant facility there. There's a 2,700 square foot facility, so I guess that doesn't really compete with these thousands of square feet. But they're not trying to put their range inside at the NRA range there. This Indian River place in Florida was recommended because it's a 5-star NSSF range, but it's an outdoor range, 320 acres. It's not that big, but it looks interesting and the pictures look cool. Roll Call is a place I went to in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's not big or nothing. It's just a little shop. Been around for a while. Got Border Tactical, a place I visited in El Centro, California, right on the border with Mexico. Been around for a while. Tiny little shop. This place is Top Gun in Missouri. I've never been here, but this one's on a lot of lists. And just looks like an interesting shop. I never heard of it, never been there, and did just some internet research. They opened up in 2004, and then I think in 2010 or something, 15, they opened up this giant indoor archery thing, and that gets put around. You see this picture on the web quite a bit. I don't think it's the only big archery thing like that, but it's certainly pretty impressive. So they're a gun shop with 18 lanes of a range, but they've also got this archery thing there. So kind of a mom and pop shop. I got them in there. the U.S. Shooting Academy is this place in Tulsa that we shot at, and I didn't realize it was such a big deal. But 60 acres, been around since 2004, and they do all kinds of stuff there. So very useful range in Tulsa. Like I say, I'm looking now at these country clubs. I'm going to be going through and doing that with the outdoor ranges too, try to put them in some kind of order or some kind of ranking. You got Scottsdale Gun Club that just gets a lot of name recognition, but they're not all that great. And Top Gun is placed just south side of Detroit that I've stopped at, I think twice now, just as I drove through that area. It's a nice little gun shop. Carter Shooting is... Oh, this was a place I stopped at in Tennessee when I was hanging out in Chattanooga, and I bought a sword there. It's just a nice little shop. They're not that big or small. They're just a cool little shop. They have M16 on the roof. American Shooters is a neat stainless steel and glass kind of shop in Vegas. Obviously, they've been around for a while. We're getting down into probably the 90s here. You got Front Sight, the big facility in Nevada, 500 something acres, opened in 96. 24 ranges, that's probably old data, 6,000 square foot classroom, so it's bigger than Centennial Gun Club, just their classroom. Front Sight's pretty awesome, it's just that the guy who runs it is extremely weird and definitely divisive, and so you either hate Front Sight, or there's three ways you can be. You can either hate Front Sight, love Front Sight, or you don't know what Front Sight is, but very few people could give a shit. You either love it or hate it. You got the LAX range, which is just a cool little range right next to the airport in LA. I went there. It's right next to that donut. You always see that giant donut that's right next to it. I went there, but it was closed. I went there like 5 minutes before they closed, but they wouldn't let me in. H&H is this 9,000 square foot. Oh, excuse me, 90,000 square foot. So, yeah, suck it, Centennial Gun Club, thinking you're so damn good. Centennial Gun Club in Virginia thinks that their 60,000 square foot box, so it looks like a giant box, is the biggest gun shop. Boom, indoor shooting range, I should say. But boom, here's H&H, opened in 1991, moved over to where they are now in 1990. Oh, I guess they opened their first location earlier. Yeah, whatever. So they've been next to the highway since 90. 90,000 square foot, 61 lanes total, 24 rifle, 12 pistol, archery, other stuff, cafe, all kinds of cool stuff. And it's next to the highway. So you basically just keep driving and driving and driving and driving and driving, and you're next to this range the whole time. Really cool. It's right off you drive through Oklahoma City going east or west, you're going to drive right past it. And just stop at either exit, stop at one exit or the other, and get off and go check it out because they're cool. There's just a little range that is here in Arizona that I stuck in here. Shooter's World is shop here in Arizona, range here in Arizona. It's not really all that awesome, but I've been going there for a long time, stuck it in here. They've been around for a while. The gun store is the original rental range. They're saying they're the first gun range in Las Vegas. I suspect they might be the first one to rent guns in Vegas for shooting. Or if they aren't the first, they're the oldest of the ones that still exist. If somebody else was doing it, they're not around anymore. Really cool shop. Really, really like that shop. I've always liked it. I've gotten good deals on like just weird stuff there, patches and some knickknacks and stuff from their gun shop, which is neat. And then I never shoot. I haven't shot there in forever, but I enjoy going there. Let's take pictures and stuff. It's cool. You get the NRA range in Virginia, which I've been to twice, but I've never shot on it yet. And this some range in San Antonio, which went to with Edge, and when he was just kind of driving around showing me stuff, and it was neat. It was neat to go to the range and not know anything about it. It's just some little range next to an airport, little airport, and then going there and coming back and then reading the research about it. Really, really, really interesting. It's just some piece of a guy's family land. He owned it for a while, and then he started selling dirtly expensive, and then he had a hole. And so he started shooting into his hole. I mean, he was shooting there all the time anyway. He just started pulling dirt out of his where he was shooting. And then eventually just opened that up. He said, screw it. In 1984, he just said, okay, I'm going to open it up, let people shoot here too. So been a shooting range since 1984. You got Dragon Man's Place, even older than that. He started with 260 acres in 1982. You got this place called Elm Fork, Texas. Anybody heard of that one? Some sort of giant shotgun place, 500 acres of shotgun place, 1,000 square foot building. You got Knob Creek. So the Army next to Fort Knox had a place where they would pull a tank over and shoot it until it blew up, and then they decided they weren't going to do that anymore, so they sold that range. And this guy named Biff bought it in 1965. That was I think about 200 something acres, and it turned into 600 acres, buying stuff around it, and just started having people over to shoot machine guns because he owned the place where you could shoot them. And that went from a barbecue to 20,000 people show up twice a year now, and people from around the world and everything watch the machine gun shoot there. It's a range all the time, and it's Biff's guns or something, like Biff's something guns. So you can go to the gun shop anytime. 600 acres though, nothing too shabby. You got the Ben Avery range, a bunch of land in Arizona that was used for shooting and stuff. Eventually got handed off to the state, and that's 1,600 acres. A lot of these ranges were medium, kicking. They were doing their thing, but then they got some kind of world event, and that's what happened in 1970. We got the International Shooting Sports Foundation World Shooting Championships happened here in Arizona, so that threw a lot of money at the range, and then the range was now in the running to be a bigger range. So that would be an interesting thing that I don't know much about, other than the ranges I'm standing next to that it happens to. That's got to be something. It's sort of like Olympics or something. There's got to be something to check out there. We have a range here in Tucson that's not on this list that is the same. They had some kind of international or Olympic level something happened there. So they went from being a pretty cool range to being an amazing range. It's not a country club or nothing, but holy moly, it's a really nice range. 3 more. We got Sprague's, which is this kind of cool giant metal building right between California and Arizona in Yuma. So it's right where Arizona and California and the international border with Mexico all smashed together, where the Colorado River drops out into Mexico. And the river comes south, then it goes north, then it goes kind of north and around and then down again. And at that point, Arizona is up underneath of California. So when I go from Arizona to California, I actually go north, or sometimes I think I could possibly even go east into California. Like, it's all screwy because of the river. And this gun shop is right there. They don't tell you how big it is, but I'll bet you it's big because it's a giant building. Anyway, there's also a small range there, 10 lanes, 25 yards. This is right next to a Marine something or other. The Marines do all kinds of shit in Yuma, flying around and shooting stuff. And then, from what I understand, like pretty much all of California, Southern California, goes to Yuma to kill birds when it's bird season. And that shop is definitely set up for hunting, and specifically hunting birds. This Waterloo rifle range is in New York. I never heard of it until I was searching stuff, and it's just interesting. It was a place that was founded in 1934, and they would just shoot at the upstairs of some building. And then in 1952, this guy that was shooting in that building decided to donate 24 acres to the club so that they could shoot outside once in a while. And then they built this club in Waterloo, New York. And it cost $2 to be a member? And in 84 years, there's never been a firearms related incident. And it was just this, I don't know much about it, but interesting little history to read there. So, and it's just old, super old, right? Then we got Camp Perry, which was built in 1906, part of the whole, we suck so bad at the wars back then. They decided to get people to start shooting. So you got 300 acres right next to Lake Michigan, or Lake Erie. And it's been all kinds of interesting things. They used it as prisoner of war camps. They've used it. They try to use it as a college. They've used it as training for various wars. And it's also the CMP. It's the headquarters for CMP. So I did get to visit that one. Coming back from the rally in DC, and that was a treat because it's something that I didn't even realize I've been driving past it my whole life. And once I knew it was there, it's cool to be able to say I've been there. And shoot or nothing, I just went there. But that's it. So that's the ranges. I still got more to go. But yeah, it's certainly neat to see them in a pile like this and then be able to, well, figure out, I need to get to Florida just to see what's going on with the Shooters World. They're not farting around. 74,000 square feet with 58 indoor shooting lanes. That seems like a lot. 48,000 is their little store. Their middle store has 62,000 square feet. So that's a pretty big situation over there in Florida, like I was saying. And they're shooting, they have full autos at all of those. Like that's not just for people that are shooters. That's they're trying to be like Vegas, from what I understand. They're trying to bring the people that go to Disneyland or whatever all they do in Florida to go to the ranges. Pretty cool. Plus, well, I guess that's it. So we're going to close these up. We took a look at some of the gun street clubs, and then we looked at this list that I've been making over the weekend. I'm pretty sure that I'll be back into the taxes here for another couple of days, and then we'll come up, hopefully done with that, and start selling the shit out of everything I own, try to pay the taxes. So I don't know who might still be out there. It doesn't look like anybody's been typing anything here for around 15 minutes or so. So anyway, that's what I'm working on this side of the internet. Anything else going on anybody else's side? We've been chatting for 2 hours about this. Holy shit. Well, I've been saying stuff for 2 hours. Y'all have been typing a few things. Dead Horse, it seems like he's done most of the typing. Dead Horse gets out most of the, everybody gets paid for how much you type. Dead Horse gets paid the most percentage-wise.
So how long are the sponsorships going on the 50 States the Two-Way book?
Well, I printed, I guess. If it's printed,
What's that?
I imagine until I print it, I'll turn them off. Then there's no way to add new ones, right?
I just wasn't sure if you had a cutoff time on that or not.
No. Just figured it's a way mainly just for people to throw $2 at us to keep the wheels turning. There's probably other stuff to talk about, but I've literally had my head in this for the last couple hours. So let's see. That's about it. Well, since nobody else is saying anything out there, I guess we'll wrap it up. So thanks for joining. And tomorrow, I don't know what we'll be looking at, or I'll be doing taxes. Basically, like I say, I've got my books over being looked at. Whenever they're done being looked at, I will be flipping over into tax mode and trying to figure out how to pay the least amount of taxes for everything. And then I can get back on task again here. Yeah, certainly though, been interesting. We'll try to have something like you were saying. I don't know. As I'm working, I think about different ways to approach some of these different things. My goal is to set the ball for other people to keep going with it. So we'll see. I don't need to make it a tetherball where I'd be just as happy to see people take and run with it instead of needing to come back or something like that. So we'll see. But with that, I'm sick of talking. Nobody saying anything. We'll